Hello and welcome to the world of NDE 4.0. My name is Johannes Rana and I would have loved to be with you at ISNT 2023. Now, I had my suitcases packed. I was already checked into my flight. And then this kicked in. One of the biggest snowstorms we had ever in southern Germany. My flight was cancelled. I tried to rebook my flight and they spent 18 hours on the phone trying to reach somebody at Lufthansa. No chance. Therefore, once more virtually, but I'm pretty sure that somewhere in the next 1 or 2 years, I will be eventually coming to India. But now, let's get started and let's get into the topic of today. Let's get into digital transformation and digital transfiguration and about the future of NDE. Now, speaking of digital transformation, you all know the transformation itself. A transformation from a caterpillar to a butterfly. But if we speak about digital transformation, then what are we actually transforming? And that's what we will be looking into right in this beginning. Now, to give you a better handle on understanding what digital transformation actually is, Rippy and we have developed a model of our industrialized society which can help understanding digital transformation. So let me show you this model. So if we look into our society, in our current day society, we have the ecosystem on top. Within our ecosystem, we have governance, we have companies, and we have consumer groups. Within the companies, we have policies, we have processes, and we have leadership. And for each process, we need procedures, we need equipment, and we need people. And this was kind of our society after the second industrial revolution. And then the third revolution kicked in. And what the third revolution brought with it was the digitization. Our equipment was digitized. The way how we store data was digitized. So no matter if we're speaking about some text which is written on a sheet of paper, now it's now stored digitally in our computers. Or if we are talking about audio, in prior days it was stored on a tape, now it's stored as zeros and ones on our computer. That's digitization, the conversion of analog information into digital information, or analog data into digital data. Now, with having all data in a digital format, people thought about, perhaps we should make our lives a little bit simpler by digitalizing, by actually using all that digitized data to simplify isolated tasks. That's digitalize. Now, digitalize, you all know it. For example, you have a GPS system in your car. That's a digitalization solution. Perhaps you're using an AI solution to actually evaluate your NDE results. That's digitalization. All the Excel tools you have on your computer to help you do some tasks, those are all digitalization solutions. Also, an ERP system is a digitalization solution. But what we have to do over and over and over again is taking the result from one tool and putting it into some other tool. And that always requires a human in the loop, which number one causes a lot of errors, and number two, it's unnecessary. Why not have all the various computer systems we have talk directly to each other? And with that, create a new value proposition for our companies. And now we are getting to digital transformation. And digital transformation, this is really where we can bring a new value to our companies. Now you can already see with that model we developed, you can see there is one more step. There's one more step missing. And we named that step Digital Transfiguration. Because now we are getting into, okay, now let's combine all of the digitally transformed companies with all of the consumer groups, which are closer to digital transformation anyway, and also with our governments and other governance organizations to really create a new ecosystem, a digitally transfigured ecosystem, so that our society can get a benefit. Now, this digital penetration from digitize to digitally transfigure and the model behind what we have developed, we have actually published in this paper. And that one was actually published on the 2nd of December. So I hope you have fun reading it. Now, but what does this mean for NDE? Now, talking about NDE, we all know about the various emerging technologies we're using, or we can use, or we will use for NDE, like AI, like drones, like 5G, like a blockchain, or even a quantum computer. All of those are the digitalization of NDE, or the advanced digitalization of NDE. On the other side, we can also speak about that we as an NDE industry are one of the best data sources for Industry 4.0. And that our data should be incorporated into digital twins, into the IoT, and so on. So this is the integration of NDE into a digitally transformed industrial environment. And then we have a third thing which we always have to consider, and this is us as humans. We speak about NDE 4.0, we for sure always have to talk about human-computer interfaces, user experience, training, ethics, human factors, and so on. So for me, those three together are NDE 4.0. Now that comes up with the question, so what will be NDE's role once we come to a digital transfiguration? Okay, but let's not get to that at this moment. Let's stay with NDE 4.0 for a moment. So, I guess you know this diagram with industry 1, 2, 3, 4, and with those four NDE revolutions coming from procedures and simple tools to the analog revolution to the digital revolution, and now to our interconnected cyber-physical. Now the question is, how do those four revolutions correlate to the digital penetration? So, yeah, Industry 1.0 and 2.0 and NDE 1.0 and 2.0, for sure, they are, back then, everything was analog. With the third revolution, we started to digitize. And soon after, we started to digitalize. And we are still continuing to do it with the development of AI solutions, with the development of robotic solutions, and so on and so on. And for sure, we are also getting into a digital transformation. That NDE becomes a cornerstone for the digital transformation. I know this all sounds a bit abstract. So let's get into some examples. Some projects I have been able to, work on. One is called AIFRI. That's a publicly funded project in Germany, artificial intelligence for rail inspection. And the situation is we have about 88,000 kilometers of tracks in Germany. I bet it's way more in India. And they have to inspect it annually with ultrasonics and eddy current. And all the results of which are taken by those trains are then put on a hard drive, which is shipped to the office. And the results they have evaluated manually on the computer, so kind of visually, by the inspectors. And that's what we want to change. We want an AI solution to support those inspectors, but we want to make sure that actually the reliability of those AI solutions is at least as good as what the human inspectors can do. So this is an advanced digitalization solution. Now, a second example. I guess you have heard from various companies of NDE workflow management solutions. So those are solutions which support NDE service companies with their processes. So for example, you operate a NDE service provider company and you get a request from your customer and you get that request already on the platform. You write your proposal, you schedule and dispatch your inspectors, you do the job, you write a report, and finally you write the invoice. All within one system, all highly automated. Now for me, that's a great benefit to the industry. But again, it's a digitalization solution. But how about we create interfaces for the customer requests? We create interfaces for writing the invoices. We create interfaces for sending the final results, the reports to the customers in an electronic way. And suddenly, this becomes integrated into a digitally transformed environment. Third example. Now, this is about the ultrasonic inspection of large rotor forgings like you see it here. And I was approached by some colleagues which were doing fracture mechanics. And they wanted more knowledge about the components which they were doing the fracture mechanics for. Because they wanted to calculate the lifetime of those components more exactly. And with more exactly, I mean, yeah, they wanted to calculate them and promising the customers a longer lifetime. So what did we do? We started statistically analyzing our NDE results. We looked in sensitivity distributions. We started to look into radial indication position distribution. We started to look into indication size distributions. We worked on the POD to give them an accurate number. Okay, how good is the POD we can achieve? We looked into the various conversion factors we have. And with that knowledge, we were actually able to do the calculations way more exactly. We were able to shift the point of first maintenance from about 6 years to about 12 years. All without any additional inspections, without any change in the hardware, without any design change. We just used the data we had anyway. That business case was incredibly big. And I bet I could find a similar use case in your industry. Now, what we needed for that, we needed reports we could digitally analyze. We needed the analysis tools. We built the necessary hardware, the necessary database, and the necessary front end. We worked on statistically analyzing those tools, and we were successful. Now, back then, yeah, I would think now we were kind of on the borderline of digital transformation because we combined NDE results with results from fracture mechanics, with results actually from destructive testing. So we were on a good way, but it was all proprietary. And this is how I wouldn't do it nowadays. Nowadays, I would be using something like OPC UA to combine all the different information sources. And this is why we started in the German Society for Non-Destructive Testing. We started a working group to actually create a so-called companion specification, which enables the interoperability with whatever NDE device you have. And this is now actually not anymore just an NDE working group. No, we have now a joint working group also with the VDMA and the OPC Foundation. And pretty soon there should be more results out of this companion specification out. And for me, this is a huge milestone on the journey of NDE to be integrated into the digital transformation of some inspection or of some company environment. Now, we talked about 4 steps, and up to the moment, we only talked about 3 of them. Let's get to the 4th one. Let's get to Digital Transfigure, and let's see what this could mean for our NDE industry. Now, I bet you have heard statements like this. Digital transformation. We have been doing it for 30 years. Now, for me, that statement is wrong. And in the next minutes, I will show you why it is wrong and how we can correct that and what it means for NDE. Now, if we look into all the various technologies which are behind digitize, digitalize, and so on, we can see with digitize, yeah, we have all kinds of analog to digital and digital to analog converters. So this is a lot of physics. Digitalize, this is a lot of programming. This is where we create digital processes, isolated digital processes. Digital transformation, now we are getting into the interconnectivity. We're getting into IoT, into digital twins, into cyber-physical loops, you name it. And now, Digital Transfigure, I think there is no explicit technology out there currently for Digital Transfigure. Now, for me, this means Digital Transfigure, that's a green field. That is something we can all start working on. Also, digitally transformed, that's also still a green field. There is also still a lot of open points, still a lot which needs to be implemented. Yeah, hell, even digitalize and digitize, there is still work to do. A lot of work to do. We still need to work on the physics and on the programming. But now we also have to work on the interfaces and whatever comes towards digitally transfigure. So, looking once more into this statement. Now, for digitize, we can say something like, we have been doing digitize for more than 30 years, and we will continue, because that is actually the basis for all current day NDE. This is physics, or this is the conversion from the physics to the digital processing part of it. Digitalize. Yeah, we have also been doing it for 30 years, and we will continue. Because digitalization will continue to improve, whatever improve means, classic NDE. But digitally transform, I think, yeah, we should actually be starting now. Because digitally transformation is the integration of NDE in digitally transformed environments, and that guarantees the future of NDE. And actually, starting now, that's only the second best. We should have started 5 years ago. But I guess starting now is the only thing we can do now. and digital transfigure? In my eyes, machine perception delivers the data needed for a digitally transfigured society. So this is a huge chance for all our business. So we should start to understand what digital transfiguration will bring today. Now, a couple of words, and I will keep this really short because I'm running out of time. I guess you have heard that a lot of digital transformations are a failure. And actually, Forbes assessed in 2016 that about 84% of every digital transformation is a failure. Now, a big part of why it is a failure is human factors. And you can see here a list of 12 reasons which Forbes actually identified. Now, in my eyes, there is one more, and that is that most people do not even know what digital transformation means. But I hope this is something we have changed today. But those 12 reasons is also something everybody has to work on. Because speaking of digital transformation, humans are the problem and the only solution. Now, one thing which should be clear, digital transformation is not your typical project. And it is for sure not your typical lean project. Digitalization. You can do lean projects with digitalization. Digital transformation, that is not lean. Digital transformation is innovation. It will take multiple steps. You will learn along the way. And it's not anymore together is better. Together is the only way. And to help the NDE community to get started with NDE 4.0, to get started with digital transformation, we are doing a lot of multi-day workshops. We're doing coaching, we're doing consulting with our customers, and you can see a couple of examples. And together with them, we are taking them from identifying their gains and pains, which usually, yeah, everybody thinks they know what are their pains and gains, but actually nobody really knows them, and we help them to identify them. Get through ideation, value proposition, concept qualification until we get to a roadmap and to successful projects. Okay, more information. There is a handbook of NDE 4.0 out there, and currently we're working on the second edition of that handbook. So feel free, if you have anything of interest, send an email to me, to Rippy, or to one of the other editors, and we will get your chapter included in that handbook. There's also the book, The World of NDE 4.0, out there, which is at the moment available through ISNT. Or you could buy the Portuguese and soon also the Spanish version of that book. And there is that book written by Ramon and Rippy, How to Build a Roadmap for NDE 4.0. There are also a lot of papers out there, which I guess most of you will know anyway, which are really the first one is going to the basics of NDE 4.0. Then I was doing a technical deep dive. We talked about value creation. We talked about digitization, digitalization, digital transformation, about success stories, about the roadmap. And now our newest one, which is talking about the model I presented today and the term digital transfiguration. And I hope we will continue this discussion at the third International Conference and Exhibition on NDE 4.0 in Bangalore. For sure, I will be coming to that one, and this time I will even plan for more safety so that this time I will really make it to come to you. One more thing I want to ask all of you, is to work on the NDE 4.0 Wikipedia article. That one needs more work, and that needs more authors than just Rippy and me and perhaps some others, because we are way too much in the whole topic. And Wikipedia articles should not be written by the primary author. It should be written by somebody who has actually read work on it and is kind of an independent author. So this is something I ask all of you, that you start working on this article. There is the NDE 4.0 YouTube channel out there. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time this year to do a lot of interesting work, but there will be more interesting content to come up pretty soon. So, thank you for your attention, and I hope I will see all of you soon, either here in Germany, in the US, or in India.